There are a few more things I wanted to talk about Jess Franco's Count Dracula from 1970. This is a part two to the first video. You will notice that Franco, and this is something that happens a lot in his films, is that he has a roaming camera, meaning his camera will roam around the properties of the film, the natural landscapes, trees, beaches or shores or villas, animals, monkeys, birds, sailboats, bodies of water, anything like that. And in Count Dracula, it is definitely happening on the outsides of the castles and with the trees that are there. I mean, this is not a tropical paradise like other Franco films. This is the Gothic atmosphere. And so he is constantly giving you that. If you look at more mainstream cinema, even, Hollywood, or they establish a setting kind of minimalistically. They don't really focus too. I mean, they might do it one time on this is the house that these people are in. Franco relishes that and focuses on that and looks at it kind of like like there's something else happening outside. Like there's something else happening outside of maybe where the action is taking place. In a way, he's not only setting up where something is happening, he's also kind of showing that he's fascinated with what's happening outside of the action and surrounding the action, and that is maybe an art piece, or it's part of the action, or part of where the characters are, and that maybe there is also something happening outside of there. Maybe that's Franco's definition of cinema as well, that something is worth seeing and elaborating on and focusing on, that there is something to be fascinated by there that is not in the typical places. And Franco's eye will always goes where it wants to, and shows you something. Style is the substance, something else, like a photographer, like a painter, and him being the jazz musician, showing you a focus that's not typical. We have some limited, subtle reflections in this particular film. Not as many reflections as you would typically see in a Franco film. We have him shooting through obstructions, which is something else that he does. He shoots through a bedpost in this film, and through a chair, I believe it is. And not sexually, because sometimes he shoots through obstructions in a section, during a sex scene. But just in a gothic, creepy way. And kind of moving through the obstructions, though, too. It's in regards specifically with that chair, kind of gliding through the obstruction. The acting in this movie is amazing. Klaus Kinski is just batshit crazy in this movie, and he's absolutely perfect. Christopher Lee is amazing in this film. Soledad Miranda is amazing in her nonverbals. She's just haunting. Her presence is haunting. It's definitely the most haunting I've ever seen her in a Franco film, is in this movie here. There's an intensity and a power to the acting for Christopher Lee, and there is a gothic horror that is resounding in Christopher Lee, and a total insanity that is resounding in Klaus Kinski's character. And you can really see, I mean, a lot of directors had problems with Klaus Kinski, and Franco, I believe, said he never had a problem with him. And you can see a certain magic that Klaus has in Franco's films like this, and Jack the Ripper, and Venus and Furs, and so on and so forth. There's lots of dialogue in this film. There's lots of style, but there's lots of dialogue. There's lots of story to be told. And And so this is a Franco film that has conversations, and longer conversations. We have architecture and nature shots. We have reverse zooms. We have plays with focus. And the interesting thing is that we have kind of some wild zooms with an elegant Gothic horror film. This is Jess Franco's 1970 Count Dracula. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page. Thank you and good night.